Hello Internet, it's me Josh, the aging gamer. So, let's talk about anime. In the US, in the 90s. Speaking solely from my experience, anime was a super niche thing back in the early 90s. I mean, we had anime, but it wasn't really a thing yet over in the US. It was just, hey, one of those cartoons from Japan. Some of the earliest ones here, even before my time, were Astro Boy and Speed Racer. I remember seeing Speed Racer quite a bit on Cartoon Network. I can't remember which channel, but I remember catching a couple of episodes of Robotech too. One of the bigger animes of the 90s had to be Sailor Moon. It was brought over to the US to try to capitalize on the Power Rangers' success, and it started a whole fandom of its own. The show actually got canceled here, but due to fan demand, it came back on the air. Sailor Moon was also one of the best examples of animes just getting slaughtered by the censors. Another anime that suffered this was Dragon Ball Z. Before Toonami was a thing, DBZ only aired like super early Saturday mornings, and we only got the episodes up until Goku started his fight with the Ginyu Force. What a random time to stop the show. Though once every Sunday, the International Channel would play uncut Japanese episodes of Dragon Ball Z, and at that point in time, it was the only way to continue watching the series. Oh man, one episode a week to get through the Frieza saga felt like an eternity, but seeing it all and uncensored was wonderful. So yeah, there were a few other shows like Samurai Pizza Cats and in a way Voltron, but a lot of these shows aired at odd times or were hard to catch. The good old Sci-Fi Channel was pretty anime friendly though. They would air anime on Saturday mornings. I totally missed out on this though because Saturday morning cartoons to me were, well, all of these. I do, however, remember Sci-Fi playing anime really late at night. They showed the likes of Akira, Ghost in the Shell, Galaxy Express 999, Vampire Hunter D, and the Fatal Fury movies. So the anime market started really picking up with the help of VHSs. In my household, it was my sister that was the one that was really into anime, and she would go out of her way to find it. And it was hard because the luxuries of the internet wasn't even close to what it is today, so finding anything was pretty hard. We'd take trips to Japantown, San Francisco, and we'd find a lot of imported VHSs. The most common source for getting anime videos, though, was going to the mall and shopping at the now defunct Suncoast. The prices were pretty expensive, but luckily it was my sister's hobby. Thanks to her though, I was exposed to animes like Neon Genesis Evangelion and Cowboy Bebop. She also got others like Oh My Goddess, Fushigi Yugi, and Utena, but I didn't really care for those. So anime started getting more and more popular. More anime was coming out and everyone was just gobbling it up. Soon Pokemon, Digimon, and Monster Rancher would start running wild on networks, which led the way to more kid-friendly animes like Cardcaptor Sakura and Flint the Time Detective. Then came Toonami. While Toonami was actually a thing beforehand, it mostly played the likes of Thundercats, The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest, and old Hanna-Barbera cartoons. But in 2000, they shift focus to anime, and they revitalized Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon in the West, as well as eventually bringing in fresher shows like Tenchi Muyo, Mobile Suit Gundam, The Big O, Inuyasha, and a whole bunch more. And at this point, anime had now taken over television in the US. It went from super niche to uber popular. It's crazy to think now that there was a point where just the word anime had people scratching their heads. I remember there was a few times where people asked me, "What's an anime?" And I'd reply with, it's Japanese animation. They're cartoons from Japan. I never sounded like that, but it did sound like a snarky asshole. But yeah, anime got huge and has been ever since. But why am I talking about anime? What does this have to do with retro video games? Could this possibly be the longest intro to any of my videos? Well, today I thought I'd go ahead and play an imported anime-based game. We're reaching new demographics here. We're going to be playing a game from one of the most influential animes of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sailor Moon for the Sega Mega Drive. So before we start, I have to admit, I don't really know much about the Sailor Moon series. I know the names of the main characters, I know the theme song can easily get stuck in your head, and I know it's one of the most popular magical girl anime to ever exist. This was a TV show that was on a lot because my sister and my cousin were really into it, but for me, I didn't really care. Little boy me thought the transforming naked silhouettes were cool, but this just wasn't my thing. But hey, it's one of the most influential animes, and they have a game on one of my favorite consoles. So let's go ahead and check this out. So, Sailor Moon on the Sega Genesis, or to be technical, the Mega Drive, is actually a ported version of the game of the same name from the Super Famicom. It's mostly the same game, but there's been some updates to levels, visuals, musics, and it even features a secret boss. Despite the fact that the Sega version lost the two-player option, from what I've read, it's still the preferred version. But anyway, the story goes, well, I'm actually not too sure, as this game was never fully translated to English. I have no idea what's going on. But if I had to guess, the big bad Queen Beryl is up to no good, and we gotta kick her ass. So before we start, we get to pick our character. There's 5 different characters to choose from, and they all play pretty differently from each other. Starting with the main character, there's Sailor Moon herself. So, pressing the A has your character punch, or in Sailor Moon's case, an awkward karate chop. B is our jump button, and of course you can jump attack. And if you can quickly press forward, jump, and kick, you can do a pretty strong dive kick. Pressing the C button is your special move, which is strong, but also takes some of your life away. Sailor Moon's special is using her tiara to hit all the enemies around her. Also, if you hold down the A button, you'll be able to perform a charge beam attack. Now, each Sailor Scout has their own secret move that's done by doing a specific button combo, which is different for each character. Sailor Moon's super secret special attack is, well, she pouts so loud that it sends shockwaves out to the enemies. Overall though, she's a pretty good, easy character to use. Now let's take a look at Sailor Mercury. I don't know much about her other than the fact that we apparently share the same birthdays, so that makes her pretty cool in my book. So, Mercury feels a lot quicker than Sailor Moon, but she's pretty similar in terms of playstyle. Her special attack isn't anything spectacular, as it's just her spinning around. For her charge beam attack though, it's bubbles! Freaking bubbles! Her secret attack is even a bubble uppercut! Eat soap, sucker! Next we got Sailor Mars. She's got some cool attacks. She performs some strong kicks and has a cool fire charge attack. Her special is a twirly kick attack too, and her secret attack is a fire tornado. I like playing as her. Next up, Sailor Jupiter. Jupiter feels a bit slower, but she also feels a lot stronger. She uses a lot of kicks and also, oh shit, she just hit a suplex. And she does the giant swing, missile drop kick, diving elbow drop. This chick is a wrestler. She's badass. And on top of that, she has an electric charge attack, a tornado special, and her secret attack is a fist pound. Yeah, look at that superhero landing pose. She's awesome. Now we got our final character, Sailor Venus. She's probably the most unique of the bunch, as her primary weapon is a chain, a heart chain to be exact, so she's really good at attacking enemies from far away. This is some Castlevania-like stuff right here. Her special attack is a spinning chain attack, and her secret attack is picking the enemy up and slamming them to the ground. Her charge attack has her pointing in the air, then finger blasting her enemies. But as much as I'd like to finger blast these bad guys, I'm not too fond of her chain attacks. It makes it harder to pull off combos like with the other girls. So now that we've seen them all, let's go ahead and play. I'll just go ahead and use the title character, Sailor Moon. The first level has us in the market area, and we'll fight off these rather generic looking beast monsters. There's also some scenery you can break. Fuck this particular phone booth for no apparent reason. Quickly after beating some of these red dudes, we'll start running into these red women with sharp looking hands. And then there's these women too. I guess I should try to learn some of these characters' names. Let's take a look at the game manual. Okay, let's check the internet. Alrighty, so apparently these red guys are called Akan. This bitch is called Gorobin, and these ones are named Caster. So casters are a bit more annoying because they can do a lot of jump kicks. Just move out of their way and then punch them as they land. As we continue, we reach an elevator. These bad guys keep jumping in, but I just keep punching them and they fall to their deaths. And they scream in agony as they die. I love it! We also got these new critters called Gigis. They kind of look like a blue version of the monsters from the movie Ernest Scared Stupid. Anyone remember that movie? No? Okay, well let's continue. We'll eventually reach the top floor. Alright, it's boss time. Look at this evil villain. She isn't any match for... Wait, huh? Why, it's Tuxedo Mask! And he's come to save me! Wait, what the fuck? I just got hit in the face! Tuxedo Mask just left. Isn't he supposed to be a good guy? He just let his girl get sucker punched. Some gentleman he is. Well, I don't need him anyway. I'm a strong, independent teenage girl. And also, I know the trick to beating all these bosses super easily. So when you're punching enemies, when you hit the A button so many times, Sailor Moon finishes off her combo strike with a spin kick. Well, if you just don't use the A button for the final attack in the combo, wait half a second, then start punching again, you can extend a punching assault as long as you need to, or until the enemy is dead. Look how easy it is to take out our first boss. Ha 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 ha! You fools are no match for my shenanigans, and with this technique, I shall rule the game. So let's continue to the next stage, the theme park. Without warning, you'll occasionally see a panda on a train for some reason. Other than that, let's beat up the same buffoons we were fighting before. At the end, we run into the enemy I hate the most in this game, the Gorogoros. They keep their distance while jumping and sliding around. Let them come to you and then start wailing on them. We enter this area where we're surrounded by giant food for some reason. I also happen to pick up a fan weapon. This thing does quite a bit of damage. At the end, we run into one of Queen Beryl's henchmen, Jadeite. Tuxedo Mask dips in again, just to weasel his way out. What a jerk-ass. Again, I don't need him. I got a fan. Whap, whap, whap. Done. Now, stage 3 is my least favorite stage. It's a moving platform level, and we're moving across vehicles that must be sideswiping each other. The problem is that the vehicles almost leave the screen entirely, with the enemies on them, thus leaving you open to attacks. And we got these goddamn Gorogoros and this new guy called Yasha. You're bound to take some damage here. After this, we're randomly in a laboratory of some sort. There's a new robot villain named Gessen. After beating rounds and rounds of enemies, the floor will transition us to various but identical locations until we reach our next boss, Nephrite. He thinks he's bad, but he's unaware of my cheap fighting style. Next level has us in Starlight Tower. So, in what you'd expect, we're fighting a lot of the same bad guys we fought before. The only difference in this level is that there's like 2 times you have to avoid getting squished. At the end of this section, we come across another one of Queen Beryl's lackeys, Zoisite, who transforms into an evil Sailor Moon. Again, you cannot stop me in my ridiculous punches. Take that, and how about one of these? Once Zoisite is defeated, we enter a cave area, where, yep, we fight more bad guys. Once we get to this part here, we have to destroy a wall. Then we'll fight the boss of the level, Kunzite. I can't tell you what his attacks are because I'm too busy whipping his ass. And now we'll start level 5, which also happens to be the last level. That was pretty quick. We're now in the North Pole, and you know, I like the look of this level. It's nice. We'll fight pretty much every bad guy grunt we've come across, including this new puppet-looking guy named Jumo. After this, we enter Queen Beryl's fortress. You know the drill, fight those bad guys. And at the end of the stage, we come see Queen Beryl herself. And who is this Fire Emblem reject? Oh, that's Tuxedo Mask under Queen Beryl's spell. I'm sure this would be heartbreaking for Sailor Moon to fight her lover, but this asshole dipped out every time I had to fight a boss, so I'm just gonna go all out kicking his ass. With my cheap punching combo trick, even Tuxedo Mask can't believe how there's no choice for him but to take this beating. Just look at that face. Once we're done with him, Queen Beryl decides to take matters into her own hands. I know she's the final boss, and I kinda want to see what she can do, but I can't help but punch combo her to death. So Queen Beryl is defeated. We get a cutscene with Sailor Moon, and I can't read the text, so I'm gonna assume it says something along the lines of, "We saved the day, let's go eat ice cream." And that's it, that's the whole game. Except for it's not. I was playing on just the default difficulty setting. If you play it on its hardest mode, there's a super secret final boss at the end, so let's go for it. This time I think I'm gonna play as Sailor Mars. She's a pretty fun character to play as. And yeah, the difficult setting is difficult. The enemies move faster and they have a lot more health than before. Maybe it's the difficulty, or maybe it's because I'm playing as Sailor Mars, but I'm not able to pull off the cheap punch combo as well as I could as Sailor Moon, so I guess I'll actually have to play fair. Also, fighting Queen Beryl is way harder than before. First off, she has max health. She also shoots beams out at you, and she even summons lightning that'll move around the stage. It feels impossible to not get hit. But hit her enough times, and she'll be defeated. You might have noticed the demon skull floating around in the background. Well, that's our next fight. Apparently this thing is called Queen Metalia. It's got no health bar at all, so you have no idea how close you are to defeating her. Just do your best to avoid the orbs she shoots out, and keep kicking her in her big stupid face. We did it! Sailor Mars celebrates by getting ice cream, and the game is now fully complete. And ladies and gentlemen, that's Sailor Moon for the Sega Mega Drive. So, overall, how was the game? In my humble opinion, it's pretty good. I can't speak on how faithful the game is to the source material, but from a gameplay standpoint, it's not bad at all. While it doesn't offer anything new or bring anything different to the table in terms of what beat-em-ups can do, it's still a fun, harmless title. It really only suffers what almost all beat-em-ups suffer from: repetitiveness. You'll fight the same group of 8 or so enemies and their various colored forms, and you'll fight them some more, and fight them more after that, as you slowly make your way right. The variety of attacks you can use is nice, as you aren't just smashing A or B all the time. Maybe you'll do a combo. Maybe you'll toss some enemies across the screen, then shoot them with a charge attack as they get up. Maybe you'll hit a special when things get too crowded. Again, there's nothing unique about the gameplay here, but it does just enough and it works. Outside of that, everything else about the game is so damn charming. The visuals here are great, and the characters look just like they do in the anime. There's even voice clips for when whichever character you use does certain attacks, gets hit, or even starts a level. The music is pretty good too. Sometimes the music comes off a bit too lighthearted. But the music fits the tone of the game well. I don't really have anything negative to say about the game. If you're a Sailor Moon fan, there's no reason not to check this out. Play the ROM like myself, or buy it online for a ridiculous price. If you're not a Sailor Moon fan, well, this will just come off as your run-of-the-mill, mid-90s console beat-em-up. But it's not a bad game. It's a decent beat-em-up with a lot of charm and personality. But those are just my opinions. What do you guys think? What do you think of Sailor Moon the video game? You think it's good? You think it sucks? You like the anime? You hate the anime? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you want, subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. And I thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all on the next one.